I'm back again on a whole different topic. So crazy how some of these things just need to be spoken. I'm back again on a totally different topic. It's so interesting how this all happens whenever you're a recorder and whenever you are prophetic and when different gates change, and why so many of us just have to come out and say specific things over and over and over and over and over because it has to be laid inside the consciousness. And today seems to be that day. In my world, this is also why, we are still in BAMA 6. We are still in BAMA week 6. So this is about soulmates, and not even twins, because that freaking flag is flown. Twins is a twin program that was done in World War II. And it was aligning things from far way back in the past that was connecting in that timeline of the 40s. That I really haven't even gotten into the full Akashic library yet, because we were just having to undo it. So, what's happening now is that we're getting more and more data on this, and we are having twins that we're finding that are leaving us. This is how the matrix works. Anything that is manipulated, anything that isn't true, whenever you bring in the real, then something has to leave. There's only so much space. You can't have a mimic in something real inside a organically functioning system the way it's supposed to be working, especially whenever you try to destiny swap with one of us. Now, these destiny swap things have been going on for a really long time, and it is far deeper than you can possibly fathom. And the twin program is really a mirrored state. And whenever you get up into the hybridization of this is why we had to make new blood. This is why we had to make and reconnect all the recessive genes, because in a weird way, what they were making was body vessels that we were getting trapped in, which was creating a mirrored dimension. And this is why, for those of us who know who our twins are and that have been traumatized with their characters, because I know that a lot of them don't even know who we are. But we tried to tell you who we were, and all of you were in powerful positions, and your character was being used in order to manipulate the entire human race, not just us, because of how this whole thing came through. So, that being said, so we command a lot over here, and I think that people get us wrong. If you notice, we never command people. We don't make commands on people. We command systems, we command overrides, we command mainframe systems go down, we command AI, we command frequency bands, we can command the car, but we don't mess with people, because we don't want the karmic feedback of that. This is what our twins have been doing. While we were being utilized to build the infrastructure and the currencies and all these things that they took for granted because they had a connection with us, but then didn't think that we were a part of it at all. Especially from 2020 to 20, any celebrity that's come up on a rise since 2020 and had any type of success, it was because there was a star seed, especially Girl Collective, that was attached to them in a Bellatrix program, and you were supposed to bring us in and pull us into the industry, and if you would have done it, then we wouldn't have had to blow up the industry. We could have done it a lot slower, and we could have, but since then, you got a whole bunch of Epstein dolls, and it doesn't even matter because it was all set to have to blow up to begin with. My point is, you got to stand up to them. You're energetically being tested. Now, us females and those of us that have gone through, and I'm telling you all this because this whole cycle's starting over again, and it's going to start correctly now, because now at least everybody down here has some tools. At least the bindings have been blown to an extent that whenever you get up in these higher consciousnesses, you start remembering, and I'll just remind everybody that these soul contracts don't have to do with sex. Not in this reality, because there wasn't any sex that was had in order to complete it. They wouldn't allow us to come in contact with the ones. They only sent us handlers in order to beat the living shit out of us in different areas to get different sequences. So the females have had to walk a series of tests. Always to do with loyalty and money. Always. The females are walking a series of tests in order to get to any type of soulmate relationship, because you don't realize how far of space you're bridging. And the union, if it's going to come together, has to recognize both sequences and both power sources in order to be able to protect the union. Because you won't be able to come into union if both of you don't know how to protect each other. Problem is, the females know how to protect the men. The men don't even want to give us any credit for doing it, so then they don't end up realizing how to protect us. All they know how to do is hand us to a handler system and get $1 out of us, and it won't be allowed, which is why none of these unions are in place, which is why sex is no longer a factor, because it was all completed without it. You should have just let us get together. Now, all that being said, for the men, and I can tell you, now it all matters who you are, and it all matters what current you're here to claim. If you are powerful, like me and a lot of the girls that are in our lines and a lot of the boys that are in our lines, you have no idea who you really are and how much is really riding on you. And those energies are made from love, from affection, from nurturing, from compassion. And at the end of days, the entire brotherhood line was made and taught to siphon energy. And that's it. To a whole bunch of women that had no idea that they had any power. And this is how this got all crazy. And there wouldn't have been any way unless we all walked through these different sequences inside of our consciousness to be able to figure that out. Because it was just inherent in both sides. It was hereditary. It was handed down on the male side, and on the female side is just don't tell her she's powerful and make her feel like a bag of crap so that she won't say nothing. That isn't going to be allowed in a new sequence. So what ends up happening through the journey, and this is really no fault on either side, and that's why I need to come on here and talk about it, because it's an actual program that you're having to run through. I've been in programs. Anybody else, give me a heart. If in the past 5 years you've been in a program, you knew you were being tested, and all of a sudden the simulation ended, and you heard program ended, and you just like dropped into the thing, and you're like, what the fuck? You're traveling through energy sequence, and for the men, you're behind. You're way behind. Hear what I'm telling you. Your women have already got your money from the future. We've already got your bank. Everything that you sold off and you thought that you lost, we got it. We're holding it in a higher frequency, all of it. And this is all the soulmates that we had, because there's a bunch of options. We have it. We didn't steal it from you. You signed it over, and we saw that it was happening, which is why we were assigned to you, and this is why the heart connection was even there. This is whenever we start talking about being undercover and not knowing that you're undercover. This is a great example, a prime example, because a bunch of our men and your women were in top secret programs. We were mirroring each other. We were only mirroring you from a higher energetic. We couldn't sign the contract. We couldn't go to the bank. We couldn't do all these things that the program was mandating that you come tell us to do. And whenever we told you no, and we explained to you why we couldn't do it, you labeled us as difficult. You labeled us as a bitch. You told everybody that we were unmanageable. And then you fucked yourself over and allowed yourself to get stolen from, allowed yourself to get trapped in karmic cycles, because we watched every single one of you go back to your original handler. Different face. Once you got in it, I know you're seeing the same thing. Now, here's the thing. We didn't send them. If you're trying to be in union with an incarnate, oh, fuck. Number one, if you're trying to be in union with an incarnate, you're an incarnate in some way, and or you were involved, most of the time you was involved with why we weren't being seen. However, it's time for that shit to end, because there ain't no way for us not to be seen now. For the women, we had to learn what our masculines were dealing with. This is why I know so much that I know about the industry. This is how we broke the handler system. This is and this is why us as a collective have been doing nothing but trying to heal everybody, because we could see very easily how the energy was running through, because we're pure source energy. You're trying to get with, if you're a masculine and you're trying to get with one of us and you love us and your intention, and you're like, why does she da-da-da-da-da? Well, what are you doing in your real life? Are you sitting on your ass not doing anything? You have your own way of doing it, but just remember that you're mirroring. So if there's feminines that catch your attention, there's a reason. There's a reason that feminine is catching your attention. It doesn't mean every single time that is going to be who it is, but you need to mirror them in your own way. If you're trying to get into union, or you see one of us and you're like, I remember them, I've got dreams, da-da-da-da-da. Well, first of all, please, everyone understand, there's a whole bunch. And it all goes in a line. And the reason that it's catching your attention is because us as a female, all we had was our sexuality in order to even have an energy to pull you in just a little bit to help you. Just like a feminine is not going to, it is what it is in a human body. You're not going to do shit until you get pushed into a corner. It is what it is. We understand that. We've all been pushed into the corner, into the hole, deeper than anybody can possibly imagine, which is why we refuse to play the game. Because we know where we end up when we do. I can only tell you what I've witnessed with me. What I've witnessed with me is that when and realized that 2021 and 2020 were even the only years that I was even in some type of communication with these energies directly, that wasn't handed off into a scamming system, that wasn't sold off into a network. And then you had, and then on TikTok, those characters became celebrity characters that are all crying because they want you to love them. Well, that's because they sold off their energetics for some reason to be part of a machine, and now they're siphoning the feminine energy across the globe. But those characters that are doing that, the industry characters, all of them have a twin. They sold it off to be in the industry. Now that those gates are broken, and now that these things are broken, everybody really does have a do-over. But that don't mean that you can do what you did the past 4 years, become rich and famous, steal all of our ideas, mirror the fucking shit out of us, and that nothing's going to happen to you this time. In fact, it's going to be, if you continue to do that on this new one, then you're going to find yourself in the hole that you put us in. There's only one reason that you had it to begin with. You don't fulfill the reason it's taken from you. For all of us in the Feminine Collective, been through the hell that we've been through down here, down with men, and what's happened to us, and what almost caused extinction to the human race because of it, we'll wait 8 years. We were fine with that. We'll wait even longer until you come correct. But that means that we sit here alone, and that means that our power is used only for what's connected in with us. It don't matter what you have bound to any of our energetics or projects. It's going to come completely out of your bank and whatever you've connected into to the rest of the human race in order to power us up, because our stuff in its completion is way more important and means a whole lot more than Snoop Dogg with some cereal saying that he's going to teach you some shit on a stolen ballerina timeline that went wick. So, for all the men, I can tell you what happens. What happens is, number one, you start getting close to one of us. You start really getting into the point where you're going to energetically intertwine and show up in our reality. You're going to get a money proposition. First thing. First fucking thing that's going to show up in your reality is everything that you think that you've wanted. You've been waiting for the movie contract. You've been waiting for this. You've been waiting for this. You've been waiting for that. And they're going to need you to sign. I'm not talking about having some conversations in a backdoor thing and you working with conscious people and y'all decide, no, you will need to sign a contract. And as soon as you do, we're gone. We're gone. Because you just signed it away. You as in that position, you're not realizing that the feminine is everything. Feminine can bring you all of that, no contract. That's number one. Number two, there's going to be a version of us that's going to pop up around you. Now, this is me, I know for sure. And this is a topic that we'll be talking about for a really long time, because this is just now hitting the wide open space and everyone can kind of go back in their lives and look at it, so that we can find out exactly how much more that this was going on. And I'm not even talking about altered states, because if you're in the industry, then this is what started the mimic that you ended up with. It's basically your wife all over again that harnessed you in, because she's a handler. Hello. To Colombia, the one I'm talking about. A version, everything that you pick apart with us. If it really is a soulmate energy, and you as a man are looking at us in a feminine way, and you're like, she doesn't look like I thought she was supposed to. I really don't like her nose. What's wrong with her teeth? Why isn't she rich? I don't understand. If she's this big incarnate, then why doesn't she have a music contract? Why isn't she in the industry? Why doesn't she have any money? Why she's not manifesting? This is what their mind. She's not manifesting because she doesn't have all this wealth and da 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 da. Okay, whatever it is that you're picking apart on us, a woman is gonna pop up around you. It's gonna look the part. Going to have the money, have the most perfect $30,000 set of teeth you've ever seen. There it is. You're being tested because you won't be allowed to come in and fuck with us, and you won't be allowed to come in and mate with us and bind with us, and we won't be allowed to print your wildest dreams, which is what it is whenever you have sex with us, because it's what we do. This is why we're celibate, because we can't have sex with a man, because you know what we do? We print your subconscious thoughts. We build your reality for you. So if you are completely being run by your subconscious and your true intention, and you have all these back-end deals that your money's connected with, you're not going to be able to stick nothing nowhere into a portal that creates it. That's what the handler system was. That's the world you're living in right now. So, and I know it's tricky. It's very tricky. Us feminine, same thing. Same fucking thing. Same thing. Different lesson. For us feminines, we're having to be, because from the male part, you're having to see what it takes to be a feminine. You're having to understand what it takes out of us to clean that. You're having to understand that you need to keep yourself pure because you can't pollute your feminine. Now, I'm talking about you polluting you, but if you want to put it in a subcontract and say it's the woman, then we're not your trash can. We're a powerful, powerful alchemy portal that needs protection, that hasn't had protection down here at all, and we've learned how to protect ourselves, which then ignites problem number 3. Because problem number 3 is all these masculines that come in, and then they meet us, and they think that we're hardened, that's where that name came from, hardened, we're hardened. No, we're not hardened at all. We're wise to the bullshit. We know how to protect ourselves energetically in ways that you haven't even thought of, only because you didn't show up. But that was our lesson, and we had to learn. If you would have been there telling us what to do, we'd all be dead. So there is no, right or wrong. It is no blame. It is nothing what it is. It's if you're coming into contact and you're being tested to see, can you handle the energy frequency when you come together? Because the energy that you're going to make is even more powerful on both sides. And if the masculine doesn't have any idea and just keeps pimping out the feminine, and the feminine just keeps blaming the masculine, because the masculines, and I can promise you this shit, man, what they've been dealing with over there, and that's the problem, like on both sides at the highest degrees of this, from the feminine and from the masculine, these are things we learned it the past 8 years. There is no book. You're not going to find a book because we're not going to write it yet. We're not allowed until we come together because it's too powerful. Everything that we create separately is too powerful, and we're not going to give out the keys in order to feed the manipulators in order to be able to... this is why this is set up that way. So from the feminine side, you're going to be tested on your loyalty. Now, from the feminine side, it's extra tricky. And feminines have it harder on this. Because we always had loyalty. We just had loyalty to the wrong beings. We had loyalty and gave love in places that it was being utilized to hurt us and to hurt our people. It wasn't being reciprocated. So for the feminine, it's like we've never known a true relationship at these highest ends. Now, to our masculines, you haven't either. You haven't either. Like, we're in the same boat. However, the masculines benefited. Feminines just got taken from. So, you know, the feminine ends up going through a process and a purification. And when you get really pure and you're holding, you know, it's like the bee movie. Whenever you take all the honey away, then the bees don't know what to do. You know, so the feminine hasn't been able to completely shut off her energy because we're all using it to survive. So the feminine has to get to a point where she can be wide open but know how to protect herself. Even that pisses y'all off. Every time one of y'all messages me, the first thing I have to tell you is, don't fuck with me. I mirror everything you do. So if you come at me with love and you come at me with friendship and you come at me with support, I'm going to mirror that back. You come at me with some bullshit, I'm going to mirror it back, and you're going to end up blaming me for fucking you over. And I don't even know what's going on. So in order to protect myself, what I've learned to do is to make you make statements. So I will have you make a statement. Who is it that you say you are? What is the intention you're coming in the door with? Why do you want to take me off this app and go talk to me on Telegram or this and this and that? What's the reason? Well, if you can't tell me, then that tells me something. If you get pissed off because I'm asking you and you think that I'm blaming you for some shit, then that tells me something. Because all I'm doing is protecting myself. And protecting you. If you really look at it. So, both sides are being tested in order to prove loyalty. From the feminine side, you're being tested with your girlfriends with money. Because you probably don't have men around to. Are you sharing your money? Are you coveting? Is someone in the group that needs that needs something and you have it and you can give it? Are you doing it? Or are you holding it? Did you just find $10,000? What were you supposed to do with it? Did you just get 10 grand and then you're around some like us that need it and then you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I'm going to go buy a house. Well, if you're putting out that energy, then what you're getting as far as possible suitors are ones that are doing the same fucking thing. This is also, you know, big contracts, corporate deals, things like that. You know, in my world, it was making sure that these Epstein payments got to where they were because it's what they were. And then it was, am I gonna tell people? That's why y'all don't know all these details about me. I'm not gonna put that out on live. In fact, that's one of the main things that the mimics want to know is how much did I pay and what day did I pay? Fuck you. Really? No. It's on the record, man. But in our world, that's what we were tested because our union matches or where we're going in our unions. And again, they're not all sexual. In fact, from the feminine side, none of it was sexual. It's all about business. From the masculine side, y'all have made it all about emotional acceptance and sex. Therein lies the problem. We know that it's about commerce. We know what our inner whenever you're one of us, we have been shown how much our sexual energy makes, and it'll blow your mind in the 3D. We fucking know because we've had to unbind ourselves from it. You don't. You just think it's Vegas. For instance, 127-19-19, disconnect all sexual energy from all ascended star seeds from Las Vegas, and I command all double down sellers and any up and down elevator movement from the only fucking German companies that make elevators and steel boxes to dismiss from all energetics of human ascension. Purple rain, yeah. Okay? So, spread the word. That's what the fuck's going on. And, we're done holding all your shit. The other thing is all the masculines that were involved with stealing all this consciousness and been doing this whole damn time, you're wrapped up in it deep as shit, and now you're the cog. You're the one that held the energy. You're it. You're the fly in the trap, motherfuckers. And you're not supposed to stay there. You're supposed to unwind yourself out of it. But if you just sit down in your own pile of shit, then you do become a purple pig and you get stuck in week 5.